You'll notice I've had my hair cut. I didn't go to the barber's. We were sitting tea break, and John said, oh, number 2 on the sides and number 4 on the top. So anyway, we did the sides with number 2, and I decided to leave the top long. Anyway, so that got my haircut done. Obviously, we've been for a ride in the old Mazda, and people seem to be very interested in things that I've done in my life, so I thought, well, might as well do Maseratis. The first Maserati I ever worked on was a Whitney Straight car. One of my customers, David Hyman, bought the car, which is probably one of the most famous cars in the world. In fact, any book you open about racing cars is usually a picture of the Whitney Straight car. Anyway, we completely rebuilt it. But while we were doing it, we found out that the engine for the Whitney Straight car, with all the numbers on, was in the Earl Howe car, which was owned by David Black. Anyway, I said to David Hyman, you ought to buy that car, we'll swap the engine. So that's exactly what he did. He went and bought the Earl Howe car. So anyway, so we rebuilt the engine in the Whitney Straight car, and we had a new crank made for it, and we did everything we could do to make it as good as we possibly could, and it went like a rocket. Anyway, I had a chance to drive it at Shelsley Wash, and I drove it tested at Silverstone, and then I also drove the Earl Howe car. And anyway, we got some pictures here, and old Josh will put them on, and you can see what I'm talking about. So that was those 2 cars, and then obviously there was Bill's car, and then the dream of everybody who knows anything about cars and ever been interested in racing or whatever. If you know, people talk about bucket lists and things like that. I must say I haven't got a bucket list, but having a go in a 250F Mazda would have been a miracle as far as I was concerned. Anyway, I was at an auction and Spencer Flack was there, and I wasn't with Spencer, but I was standing next to him, and I was encouraging him to buy the 250F that had been owned by Stan Jones and won the Australian Grand Prix. Anyway, he bought it, and because old Spencer did everything perfect, so he had the car completely rebuilt and had a lovely job done of it, and he raced it quite a few times. Anyway, we're at Mallory Park testing a Bugatti or doing so. I can't remember what we were doing, but anyway, we're there. And I said to old Spencer, I said, oh, Spencer, what a knockout car. He said, do you want to have a go in it? I couldn't believe it. So there I am, getting in a 250F Maserati, but sort of half a dozen laps around Mallory Park. Well, obviously, I couldn't strong it, because obviously if it had gone wrong, I'd have looked a right idiot. So I had a good drive of it, and I had a good go, but I wasn't going like I would do if somebody said if you could break the lap records, you could have a go at it forever. I probably would have tried a bit harder. But anyway, what a good old boy Spencer was, let me have a go at it. Anyway, at the time, Uber Hooker was there, and I said, take some pictures. So Joshua put the pictures over the top. So that was it, really. So it was a Whitney Straight car, the Earl Howe car, and the 250F Mazda. The other thing that happened, the flat in South Harrow, where all the Formula One blokes died, whereas old, what was his name, who just died, unfortunately, Frank Williams and Bubbles Horsley and all of that lot, they were all in this flat in South Harrow. It was quite famous. But before all that lot got there, I was there because I knew Charlie Crichton Stewart, and I used to go and help him, and I'd stay overnight, and in the morning we'd get up and drive to Brands Hatch, and he would drive his Ferrari round and round and round, and I used to help him. So that was it. So anyway, in the meantime, I've got married, and I obviously didn't go to the flat very often. I'm driving by one day. I looked down between the buildings, and there's somebody working on a car. So anyway, I thought, well, I'll stop and go down and see who it is. I went down there, and it was Charlie Lucas, and he was working on his Lotus 23, which he just really won a race. I forget what it was, the Guards 100 or something, and a blooming thing popped out of the water pump, and he didn't do any good. So anyway, he was getting ready to go to Brands Hatch. So I was sitting there talking to him, and I didn't know Charlie, but I'd said to him that I'd previously been to the flat, etc. So he was very friendly. And he said, I've got a bit of a problem really, he said, because I can't tow the car to Brands Hatch because I haven't got my tow car. So, where's your tow car, says I. He said, it's gone to Milan with my mechanic to pick up a 250F Mazda. I said, really? He said, yeah. He said, apparently, he said, it's the ex-Banjo car. He said, and anyway, he's gone to pick it up and he's bringing it back. So I said, well, I've got an old Jag with a tow bracket on the back, so you can borrow it. So he borrowed my car, and took his Lotus 23 to the track. I didn't really know Lucas, so I didn't know anything. But what a thing, going to Milan to pick up a 250F Maverick, and I believe it cost less than 500 quid, which is just amazing. I mean, I know at the time my house was 4,000 quid, so 500 quid was a lot of money. But anyway, that was another little bit I got involved with Maseratis. But that's it, really. Chris Drake let me have a go in a 4CM around Silverstone. I had a go in a 4CM, which was quite good, but nothing like the Whitley Straight car. That was some car. So the idea of this car is that it would be absolutely reliable, so we haven't tweaked the engine up. It's just as that was when it was in the 3500 GT, which is just an ordinary road car. So there's no reason why lovely noise, Weber's and an opening exhaust. You can't beat it. The roads are a bit slippy today because it's been icy. And where the thing's in the shade, it's a bit slippy, so you've got to be a bit sensible. Because I wouldn't want to write the bleeding car off. Does go nicely though. Loads of torque. Being a bit careful here because people going to work, they fly around the corners. Lovely gearbox. Changes gear lovely. And boot it now. Little bit slippy. Not much synchro in second gear. Catching up in the traffic now, so. But I'm amazed how good the rear suspension is. Because I know it's a little bit bumpy. Those old 3-litre single-leaf springs seem to work like a charm. I mean, we haven't adjusted the shock absorbers in years, but they feel really good. It just feels a nice old car. Yeah, you feel like you could drive down to the south of France in this. We did actually fit a heater. But I don't know how you switch it on, I've forgotten. Not that it'd do any good, but it might be a bit of warm air through around your feet. But it doesn't feel cold, it feels nice. Yeah, well, I didn't expect the lorry to lift off. But mind you, driving about a red sports car, you can't have any aggravation. You can imagine it, can't you, if anything happened. Oh, he's in a red sports car, so he had to be doing 100 miles an hour. There you are, pulled away in second gear then, absolutely loads of torque, perfect. Third gear, look, poodling along, probably doing 20 miles an hour. Very bumpy old road, but then the roads around here are bumpy. Give it a bit of second gear here. Road looks very wet though. That synchro's desperate, you've got to give it a right rev. All this road here is in the shade, so it's very slippery. Nice corner up here. Brakes are lovely. See, I doubly clutched them when I put it in the second gear. What a good car. Another car, we're going to have to do a track day. And old Bill'll be up for that. If you said to him, oh, we want to go somewhere and do a track day, oh, yeah, that's a good idea, so we'll have to do that. And I can really give it some revs. Mind you, the old Engelbert tyres have been on this since we built it. You can't actually buy them now. So you couldn't really, I don't know how hard they'd be. On a nice track on a hot day, they'd be alright. You can get them hot enough. I've called the traffic up now, so just got to poot along. Mind you, you can't do much else on this road really. Because it's all in the shades and there's slime and ice and goodness knows what. Going into the sun now, which is very difficult. As it happens, old Bill's got a nice pair of Maserati sunglasses in the glove compartment, so I think there's a good chance I'll put them on really. But I reckon round the corner we might go out in the sun, so that'll be alright. Look, third gear. I reckon it'd do it in top actually, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. We've got a dead straight bit of road here, so we'll do a standing start for the crack. Mind you, it's dead into the sun. So I think I'll try the Maserati sunglasses. And there's someone coming the other way anyway, so I'll make sure they go by. Because we don't want to get upsetting anybody. No, that's a lot better, I must say. So here we go again. don't think I've exceeded 50 mile an hour, but it does feel like it's got loads of grip. The road straightens up down here because it goes down across the motorway. Very, very comfortable. I mean, them springs is just a marvellous car. I didn't realise how clever I was when I made this. Over the motorway. I'll give the brakes a real press because I haven't really tried them. Oh, they're all right, aren't they? Into the sun again. No doubt about it, when the summer comes we're going to have to go in for a few track days. And Bill's also got a Lusso Ferrari, which he said to me he'd like me to have a drive in that. Oh dear, that's synchro. You got to do the revs. He'd like me to have a go in the Lusso because he's had the engine rebuilt. He's had a few jobs done on it and he said I'd like you to have a go in it, so when we get the old 250 Ferrari going, we'll get his Lusso and we'll have a go in both of them. That'd be a bit flash, wouldn't it? Got someone in front of me, obviously, pootling along, which is, in fact, he's driving away from me. I reckon this is fast enough, so you go faster than me. Bumpy old road. But we'll give it a little bit of second gear because we're coming up to where we're going to turn off to the farm. Can't resist that lovely noise. We have to lift the gear lever to put it in reverse. Here he is. Somebody going by like a loony. We're now going to try the camera out. Right, we'll try for a first. Certainly going nicely, isn't it?
Yes.
I think the spark plug leads was the answer.
Yeah.
I mean, even over this bumpy road, it's quite good. No, Bill was very wise when he bought this. Lovely blue sky, absolutely beautiful. And a load of birds in the trees here because there's loads of red currants on these trees. Or there was, and they seem to be all gone now. So they all call in here on their way south, eat the blueberries and then bugger off. Gearbox is good, apart from it's a little bit weak on second, but you know, nothing wrong with that. So we got a few questions to answer. Somebody said about putting the two-cylinder engine in a Mini. Well, that's impossible because you'd need the original gearbox, and so we never really thought we'd do that. And fitting the A30 gearbox was very convenient to put the start motor on it. But because we've now got the two-stroke engine, which we'll get round to eventually, and we'll put that on. And I can't remember, there was another question. What was the other question?
AP brakes were...
Oh yeah, AP brakes. No, the old Mazda's got the dead standard brakes, which were Jaguar. And they were Jaguar on the 3500 GT. So that was absolutely standard. But they work like a charm. It's got drums on the back, discs on the front. But so that's it really. So we've now done all the Mazdas. He's holding something up, I don't know what it is. What does it say?
Piper cams.
Piper cams, yeah. No, I've never actually used Piper cams, but my son does. Timothy uses Piper cams and making various things for Bugattis, etc. Very good firm, very good firm. So that's it really. Now, I must tell you that we bought and actually got here the Ginetta G50. And we've, obviously the engine's in bits, but we looked at it all. It's all in lovely condition. So we've got some gaskets coming from America. We're going to put that together. I've put the Quaife gearbox together, so that'll be another exciting thing to look forward to. Anyway, don't forget, the motorbike. Everybody says, oh, what's that motorbike? I agree with you. I bought that motorbike because it looks so good. I thought, well, I've got to have that. You know, it just looks like Brooklyn's all over again. Anyway, we don't know anything about that motorbike. It's a complete mystery to us. But what we'll do, we'll take a load of pictures of it, and you never know, someone out there might be able to fill us in the history, because it would be good to know where it come from. I mean, it could be a complete fake. We wouldn't know. But I'm telling you what, we're still very pleased with it, and that's another thing we'll do. But anyway, don't forget to subscribe, because we need the money, and I'll see you in the future.